I always wanted to serve on a jury.
I'm really super excited to be here, so I really appreciate you having me. I'm looking forward to it.
I want to give a big shout out to the 13 Jury Podcast and Brandi.
Yeah, I applaud you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
And then I just looked to the jury, and it's sort of like, look.
Hey, if it's more work, come pop in and say, hey, let's talk.
You are a ray of sunshine, and I love what you've done with your YouTube channel.
Hello, hello. Look at her little ponytail. Look at her little ponytail. Oh, there's a bad dog. Hello, hello. I am here. Power nap. Hopefully helped let's see. Let me get something. Just, I don't know what they're doing out there. Something is loud. Is this? Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, I'm trying. Studio mode. What is happening? Where'd it go? Hold on. What happened? What happened? Okay. Streaming. There it goes. Is it staying? Do we have it? All right. Let's see. Did it work? It worked. It worked. Y'all can see the screen? Okay. I think you can see it now, right? Yay! Okay. I changed some settings and stuff, and I was really hoping it would work because it would make my life so much easier. And it worked. Yay. I wasn't sure. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. We have so much to do. Like sit here and wait again for the trial to start. Hopefully it won't be window. Okay, there we go. Oh. Let me make sure this still works. Yes. Oh, hallelujah. Let me tell y'all. Imagine there's something you know nothing about. Nothing about. Zip. And then all of a sudden, you have to learn it while hundreds of people are watching you mess it up. As you go. That's how I feel. That's how I feel learning all my tech stuff. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. We're making progress. We are getting there. Oh, we are making progress. Slowly but surely. This is what I need to put up here. Bring the jury. I'm ready to get them back to it. Did y'all enjoy your break? My nap wasn't long enough. I am not, I just didn't get enough sleep. We don't mind watching you figure it out. It shows us you're determined. I am determined. I am going to get all of this. I might not get it right away. And I might mess up a million times while everybody's watching me, but I am determined to get it. Like, you have people like, think about like RA. RA has more cords in his office area than a Best Buy sells. There are all kinds of gadgets and gizmos aplenty all around him, and he's just like boop 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 boop, and he can just do it all, and like he's like a tech guy. I feel like I am RA's great grandmother trying to learn to use Facebook for the first time. That's how it feels trying to learn all this stuff. But I'm teaching myself. I'm getting it. I watched videos, and I'm getting it. I'm getting it. We're getting there. Learning OBS is hard. Don't feel dumb about having mistakes. Once you get the hang of it, it's easy. I keep hearing that. But how long does it take to get the hang of it? Asking for a friend. Because I am... Okay, asking for myself. Because I hadn't got there yet. But that's okay. We're getting there. It's worth it. I'm getting a little bit better, like, as we go. I'm learning to fix stuff easier, at least. So, you know, there's that. Yeah, RA went to college for what he does. I, on the other hand, did not. I just went to YouTube for it. That is all I did. Not nearly as... Oh, I bet I can put this over here, can't I? And it won't mess with anything? Can I? Oh my gosh, I can, can't I? Look at me go. Look at me go. I'm getting the hang of it, y'all. Cord's coming back. Cord's coming back. Finally. Shoot, I'm missing something. There we go. There's no audio? It's not muted.
It's helpful to first determine who testified about
It wasn't me this time.
what they believed to be blood. Here they were recipient witnesses. Several witnesses that had been on scene and observed certain substances and stains at the crime scene. The testimony by those witnesses was to be that what they observed was blood. Now, the defendant moved for an in limine preclusion of that testimony by any lay witness or recipient witness, on-scene witness, unless there was sufficient evidence to establish that that item or those items had been tested and found to be blood. So in Grant, the state, or rather the court, cited State versus Schaefer, finding that it was permissible to admit into evidence the opinions and common observers, or rather of common observers in regard to common appearances, facts, and conditions. However, that testimony could not have been based on the testimony of others or some hypothetical set of facts. So the holding, as the court sees the holding in that case, is that even lay witnesses can testify as to their belief that a substance was blood, as long as that testimony is not based on what the court described as testimony of others or hypothetical statements of facts. Now, of course, in Moody, that was a situation in which expert testimony was offered. The expert witness said that a stain found on one of the defendant's shoes had given a positive result on a presumptive test for blood. In Moody, there was a presumptive test only. The court held that the result of the presumptive test for blood had no probative value whatsoever. The test result did nothing toward establishing the likelihood of the presence of human blood. In that case, there was only the presumptive test. That testimony should have been excluded and should have been found inadmissible. Now, in State versus Whipper, there was no testing at all by the police detectives. The detectives had testified that an eyewitness had seen the defendant break a vase over the victim's head. The police concluded in their testimony that the bloody hand or palm print on that vase was actually blood. An expert then testified at the same trial, and he stated that the bloody palm print on the vase was the defendant's, but he said on cross-examination that the substance on the vase had reacted to certain chemical reagents consistently with the way blood would react, but there were other substances that would have the same reaction. Well, because the police did not test the blood, the fingerprint expert did not test for blood, the court concluded that it was improper for the state's witnesses to testify that the palm print found on the vase had been made of blood. In Grant, that was again a recipient witness testimony. They observed what they believed to be blood and described as a trail of blood. This is another case in which you have lay people testifying about what they believe to be the substance. The court held there a person of ordinary knowledge and experience is generally competent to testify that a substance personally observed by that person appeared to be blood. Although the particular facts and circumstances surrounding the witness's observation of the substance might affect the weight to be given to the testimony, the fact that the substance was not subject to scientific testing to rule out any possibility that it was not blood does not render the testimony inadmissible. So now we come to Downing. In Downing, we had a criminologist testify, opining on the stand that they relied on a presumptive test for blood. The defendant argued that that testimony should have been precluded pursuant to Moody. In Downing, the court should say this first. This issue really comes down to what is probative. and to make it simple, is a presumptive test by itself probative? According to Moody, no, it is not probative. On that basis, it would not be admitted. The next question is a presumptive test under all circumstances not probative? The answer to that is no. In Downing, the court quotes Moody, the presumptive test for blood had no probative value whatsoever because the test did nothing toward establishing the likelihood of the presence of human blood. We're talking there about a situation in which there was no other factor to be considered. However, in Downing, the court indicated that the presumptive test, again, by itself, is not going to be probative in any degree. However, there are other factors that can be considered that would render it probative, not conclusive, but probative, such as the color of the substance, the shape of the substance, other factors that could indicate that the presumptive test could be confirmed. Now, in this case, we have a presumptive test or presumptive tests. The issue then becomes, are there other factors that can render the presumptive test not conclusive, but probative? Because relevant evidence has this definition. It's evidence that has any tendency to make a fact, the existence of a fact that is material to the determination of the matter more probable or less probable than it would be without the evidence. So in this case, you have a presumptive test by itself, not good enough, but you also have a missing person investigation. You have the color and shape of unidentified stains. You have spatter pattern. You have unidentified stains on the vehicle, in the garage, and you have an abandoned vehicle owned by Jennifer Dulos. In combination, the presumptive test is probative. The issue now goes to what weight the jury will give to the evidence. So the only danger the state can run into is if there's a question asked and the defense, rather the state's witness says that presumptive test is conclusive. And remember, the court can also ask questions. So the court is going to allow the testimony concerning the presumptive test. But again, the court has informed the jury that this court will ask questions.
Just for the record, I would note that in Downing, the evidence showed that some of the splatter had already been tested and confirmed at the lab to be blood, not just that it looked like blood, and that's why it was allowed. But I would ask the court to address the second part of my argument, that its probative value is completely outweighed by its prejudice, especially in light of the fact there is no confirmatory tests, and that when it is tested, it is not blood. So to let it in is the equivalent of allowing, as I indicated, that rust that the jury can infer that that was blood. So I ask the court to at least address the other part of my argument.
Well, the issue again is not prejudice, but unfair prejudice. Does the state wish to be heard?
Your Honor, with respect to the fact that a test is all evidence is going to be prejudicial, to rise to the level of unfair prejudice at this point, I don't think evidence of a presumptive test when the witness is going to testify that it is presumptive in its very nature is also subject to a very competent counsel who can cross-examine him about the adequacy of that test and about the fact that a lot of this evidence did make it along the chain and go to the lab and what they did there, whether they tested it or not. I'm not going to even address any of that today. I believe Attorney McGinnis will deal with that next week. But with respect to the prejudicial value, I don't think it rises to unfair prejudice, and counsel can cross-examine, and that will go before the jury.
Well, again, the only danger the court sees for the state is that the state's own witness says it's conclusive.
I understand that, Your Honor.
As far as unfair prejudice is concerned, the court does not see that the prejudice is so substantial as to preclude any effective cross-examination. So the court will allow testimony concerning the presumptive test. We can bring the jury in.
So, during the break, one of the reporters spoke to the attorney, and he's saying that the reason that he tried to get this out is, remember he was saying it's junk science. He was saying that, hold on, I want to read this quote. A detective who's only there to take samples from a garage or from a car doesn't need to talk about a chemical that is basically junk science as the reason for it, any more than if he said he used a Ouija board to choose where he was going to choose samples. It's not relevant. I've never seen Blue Star or anything like that. I've never seen it fought this much like this. This is really interesting. But also, if a
Counsel
detective
stipulate to the presence of all of the jurors.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
If a detective got up there and said, I used a Ouija board to decide where to take samples from, we'd have more problems than
Your Honor,
just...
may I call my next witness?
Yes.
The state calls Detective Matthew Riley to the stand. May I approach the clerk?
Yes.
Detective Matthew Riley, is that what they said?
Your Honor, may I have a moment with counsel?
Yes.
I think they said Matthew Riley.
Okay, we're fine. That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, Madam Clerk. The witness.
You could please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or upon penalty of perjury?
I do.
Please state your name and spell it for the record.
It's Matthew Riley, R-E-I-L-L-Y.
And you may be seated.
Thank you.
Oh, I still can't pin my own messages.
Good
May
afternoon.
inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Let me see if I can do it this way.
Mr. Riley, or Detective Riley, I'm sorry, are you currently employed by the state police?
No, I'm not. I retired from the Connecticut State Police in January of 22.
Okay. If you could please explain, what rank did you retire at?
I retired as a sergeant.
And in 2019, what rank did you have?
I was a detective.
Could you briefly just explain a little bit about your training and experience as a sergeant with the Connecticut State Police?
Yes, I've been a detective for approximately 20 years of my 23-year career. And during that time, I've had classes in intermediate crime scene processing, advanced crime scene processing, lane print development, bloodstain pattern analysis, death investigation, homicide investigation, and probably a myriad of other classes.
And with respect to the Connecticut State Police, were you assigned to a particular troop or division?
I was assigned to the Western District Major Crime Squad, where I worked on the van unit as a crime scene investigator.
Could you please explain what a crime scene investigator is?
So, crime scene investigator is tasked with the investigation of a crime scene, processing evidence, handling evidence, packaging evidence, and coordinating with laboratory analysis and such things as that.
Could you discuss a little bit about your training, if you have any, with respect to crime scene analysis, that particular part of being, or that assignment, I should say?
Yes, I've attended intermediate crime scene processing courses, advanced crime scene processing courses, law enforcement photography, bloodstain pattern analysis, different trainings on the investigation of not only homicide scenes, but scenes of sexual assault, and classes on medical legal death investigation.
And how long were you assigned to the van?
Approximately 14 years.
In 2019, who was assigned to the van with you?
So the van unit in 2019 was supervised by Sergeant Joe Duva, and then there was myself, Detective Jamie Pearston, Detective Jeremy Combs, Detective Frank McGavin, and Detective Mike Downs.
I'm going to draw your attention specifically now to May 24th, 2019. Did you report to 69 Wells Lane that day in New Canaan?
I did.
Why did you respond there?
I received a telephone call from the Western District Commander saying that the New Canaan Police Department was requesting assistance with a missing person investigation where they suspected foul play.
And what was your assignment for going to, or what was your reason for going to 69 Wells?
They were specifically, what I understood at the time, they were just asking for crime van assistance or crime scene investigation assistance. So I responded to Western District headquarters in Litchfield, grabbed the truck, and drove down to 69 Wells in New Canaan.
So the truck, what is on the truck, if you can describe it a little bit?
So it's the major crime van is it's kind of a big toolbox on wheels. So it's a small body or kind of a medium duty truck with a cargo body on the back that contains all of our equipment, all of our supplies, additional lighting, cameras, such things as that.
About what time did you respond there? Or to 69 Wells, I should say.
I probably arrived sometime around 2 o'clock in the morning on the 25th.
Was anybody on scene when you arrived?
Well, I know New Canaan Police Department had uniformed officers there, and then I really don't remember who arrived first from our crew.
Now, you mentioned a couple names about people who worked on the van. Did anybody that you named arrive or come to 69 Wells that day?
Yes, Detective Frank McGavin was available, so he responded. And then we had several what we call alternates. So detectives who also work in Western District Major Crime, they have additional crime scene training and experience, and they come to kind of backfill absences for people who are not able to respond.
And who were those alternates?
The alternates that day were Detective Corey Clabby, Detective Bob Hazen, Detective Katie Keppel, and Detective Dwayne Lopierre.
Did you enter the house on it? Well, I'm gonna, if I can check that. Is there when you conduct a search of a residence, is there a certain process or procedure that you utilize?
Yes. So when we arrive at a scene, usually in serious cases, the local PD is in the process of obtaining a search warrant. By the time we arrive on scene, we get a briefing as to the investigation up to that point. Usually from the lead.
I'm going to object. This is not the question is not what he did then. He's talking about in general. I don't know if that's helpful.
Well, the question is, what was the procedure on that day, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I would request that.
The response was, generally, this is what we do. That's non-responsive. So this objection is
I'll rephrase. I will rephrase. Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, with respect to May 24th, 2009, actually it would be May 25th, 2019, did you have a specific procedure in place with the other officers on the van in conducting a search of 69 wells?
Yes. So, like I said, I arrived at approximately 2 o'clock in the morning. Again, New Canaan was obtaining a search warrant for the property, and once everybody arrived, we divvied up our various assignments of what we were going to do that night.
What were those assignments?
So Frank McGavin, he was assigned to take notes at the scene and prepare a scene report. Basically, it's observations and actions at the scene. I took evidence collection, so I was the evidence officer. It was my responsibility to identify, collect, package, and label all the evidence. We had a primary photographer. We also run a backup photographer. We have a videographer, and then we had somebody prepare a sketch map.
Who was your primary photographer?
That would be Detective Katie Keppel.
And the backup photographer?
Detective Bob Hazen.
And is there a particular order that those assignments are done in the course of May 25th, 2019 processing?
That night, we started out with video recording, overall video recording of the scene. Then we'll start primary and backup photography overall. I'm sorry, let me back up. The first thing we do is we conduct a walkthrough. So we conduct a walkthrough, kind of see what we have, identify any kind of fragile or transient evidence that we have.
Again, I'm going to object. It sounds like he's not talking about what he did, but what he usually does.
The objection essentially is non-responsive. The question is not what normally the routine is. It is what happened that day, sustained.
Detective Riley, did you participate in the walkthrough of 69 wells?
Yes, I did.
How did you enter the house?
I entered through the garage, and then I went ahead and accessed the front door because the garage appeared to have a great deal of evidence in it. We didn't want to get it trampled. So I opened the front door, let Detective McGavin and Detective Keppel in. We conducted a quick walkthrough.
And if I can, what is the purpose of that walkthrough?
We were looking for kind of the layout of the house, the situation, getting a feel for what we had. We were looking for any kind of transit evidence, fragile evidence, and we would start to develop a plan on how we would basically tackle this problem.
And after the walkthrough, what was the next step in processing the scene?
The next step in processing the scene is Corey Clabby started his video recording.
Were you a part of that?
No, I was not.
And after the video recording?
After that, the photographers went through, primary and backup.
Were you a part of the primary or backup photography?
No.
While the videography or the primary and backup photographers are in the house, what were you doing?
While they were in the house, I was swabbing the points of entry door handles for latent DNA.
I just want to clarify and ask you about the word swabbing. What exactly do you mean by swabbing?
A swab is just a long-handled Q-tip. It's contained in sterile packaging, and we use it for the collection of evidence.
Where do you get the swabs from?
Forensic supply house.
And how are they preserved, or are they preserved, I should ask you?
The swabs are contained in, they're individually packaged in sterile wrappers. When we use them, we collect evidence and then we place them inside of a short box that we seal and put inside of a larger envelope for labeling.
What do they look like?
The swabs, ma'am?
Yes.
Like I say, it's a long-handled Q-tip, similar to what you see at a doctor's office.
And you indicated, well, how do you use them?
So in this case, when I was swabbing the door handles for DNA, I would open up 2 swabs, moisten them with sterile water, and then run them around the door handles in an effort to collect up any biologic material that may have been on that door handle. I'll then cap the swabs, put them inside of a box, seal them up, and then place them in an envelope.
And is that standard policy and procedure for you when you utilize a swab?
Yes.
And did you consistently use that process anytime you used a swab at 69 Wells?
Yes.
Now, you indicated you swabbed the doors, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why would you swab the doors first?
Just in case there was an unknown intruder coming through one of those points of entry, hopefully we would be able to pick up some sort of their suspect DNA, unknown DNA.
Well, the court is going to interject here. The court believed the testimony was that he swabbed the door handles.
I was just going to clarify that if I can, Your Honor. If I may approach, Your Honor, the state is intending to introduce multiple photographs. I believe I need to have the witness view them for ID at this point, if I may.
May I have a word with counsel privately for a moment, Your Honor?
No. Sorry, I'm trying to change stuff. The oh my gosh, this is okay. Wait, I'm having problems again.
Agreement about making this move a little faster, so.
If
thank God.
Honor, well, do that. If I may just approach the witness. This is 9, if I may, Your Honor, I apologize. 9A has been marked for ID, Your Honor. If I can. Sir, I'm going to show you, please don't flip the page. you look at I believe this would be page 2 off of 9A. Can you take a look at that document, please? Now, there are about 4 photographs on that document. This is under 9, states 9. It's a file labeled 169 Wells, Your Honor, with 4 photographs on it. Do you recognize those photographs that are contained on that page?
Yes.
And what are those photographs?
Those are overall views of the 4 sides of the scene.
Do those pictures fairly and accurately represent the scene of 69 Wells as you saw it that night or that morning, I should say, on 5/25/2019?
Yes.
So you would offer the file labeled 169 Wells off of states 9 as a full exhibit?
Is there an objection?
Oh, well, 9 is still ID, so these 4 they're all on one disc. That's the problem. So I'm not objecting to these 4 being shown to the jury.
And just for expedience, Your Honor, I'm going to run through all of them if I can.
Is it identified as 9 or 9A?
9A is for ID only at this point. I believe a 9, both are for ID only. 9A is the document is screenshots of every file or photograph contained within 9. So instead of pulling the photograph up on the computer, counsel has agreed to let me show those screenshots to authenticate each photograph. Save some time.
So 9 will be admitted as a full exhibit.
I have to run through all of them. Counsel's not in agreement at this point.
Thank you.
If I may, may just approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
So I'm going to show you page 2, or actually it might be page 3, under file marked 2, garage pictures in states 9. Can you take a look at that page and only that page, sir? Sir, did you have an opportunity to look at those?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize any of the photographs that are contained on that page?
Yes.
How many do you recognize?
I recognize them all.
Okay. Do they fairly and accurately what are they? I'm sorry.
Photos 1 through 5 appear to be overall photographs of the garage at 69 Wells. Photograph 6 is the photograph of the doorknob of the door in between the garage and the mudroom at 69 Wells. And photos 7, 8, and 9 are photographs of the doorknob after removal and during processing.
And do those photographs all fairly and accurately portray those items that you described?
Yes.
And that's with respect to what they look like on May 25th, 2019?
Yes.
Okay, state would offer that file, which I believe, if I can, is dates 9, file 2, labeled garage pictures.
No objection.
So states 9, file 2, admitted as full.
If I may, Your Honor, dates 9A again, so I'm going to have you take a look at state file 3, labeled kitchen, and the majority of them, I will pull up the last one on the computer, but if you can take a look, please. Did you have an opportunity to look at that?
Yes.
Thank you. I would also direct your attention to the screen right in front of you. Do you see that screen in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, just for the record, Your Honor, there is, so the record is clear, there is a screen in front of Detective Riley that only can be shown to him. The screen on the back of Detective Riley that is portrayed towards the jury is off. Sir, do you recognize what's depicted in the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, both the screen in front of you as well as the document in front of you as well. Do you recognize those photographs?
I do. Could you pull up photograph 17?
I know they're small. Can you? Thank you. Attorney Moran is assisting, Your Honor. Thank you. And again, it is only for the record shown on the screen in front of you. Do you recognize the photograph 17?
Yes.
So all those photographs that you just saw, are they fairly and accurately portray? Well, I should ask this. What are they?
The photographs appear to be overall views of the kitchen. Those are photographs 1 through 4. Photograph 5 and 6 appear to be the contents of the purse we found in the house. 7, 8,
Well,
9.
Your Honor, before he gets into a description of items not yet in evidence, I would like at least the opportunity of voir dire about this set before I object or not object.
I haven't even finished asking him if it is a fair and accurate representation of what he interprets it to be, Your Honor. I would ask to finish that before.
Thank you. The court will permit voir dire after counsel lays the foundation.
Thank you. You can continue, sir.
And photos 7 through 15 were taken during processing of the kitchen. Photo 16, an item of evidence that we seized from master bath. And photo 17 is an exhibit that was seized from the garage floor.
Do you recognize all the items on that piece of paper?
Yes.
As well as the screen in front of you?
Yes.
Do they fairly and accurately portray what you explained them to be on May 25th, 2019?
Yes.
The state would offer it at this time, Your Honor.
Brief voir dire.
Yes.
Mr. Riley, I just want to be clear as we go through these. And let's start with the image you see on the screen, which on the sheet is marked as 18-352. That's on the screen. When you were at the scene, is this precisely how it appeared that you yourself saw?
Yes.
It was like that we're seeing in the picture. You observed that at precisely as this image portrays it.
Correct.
All right. And if you look at the other images, 1 through 17, when you were in the house doing your job of collecting evidence, did everything that you observed appear precisely as is shown in these images, these specific images?
Yes.
So that it not only fairly accurately represents the way that the room appeared in general, but you yourself saw these exactly as they're laid out here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then I'm not going to object to these pictures, Your Honor.
This is why it's going to take so long.
Thank you.
If he's objecting to like
what is
everything.
the offer?
At this point, Your Honor, we're still on states 9. Council has approved, it has been, Your Honor has admitted files 1, which is 69 wells on that, file 2, which is garage pictures, and file 3, which is labeled kitchen. The state is now moving on to file 4, which is titled 69 wells latent prints.
So 1, 2, and 3 are full already.
Already, Your Honor.
So just so that the record is clear, 1, 2, and 3 admitted as full.
And just for Your Honor, there are 15. So take a minute and take a look at file 4.
Yep.
Do you recognize the items depicted in those photographs?
Yes.
What are they?
They're photographs of latent prints that we developed and seized at the scene.
What date did you seize those or develop those latent prints?
We fingerprinted the house on the 27th, so on Monday.
On the 27th. Do those photographs that you see in front of you fairly and accurately portray the prints you photographed or developed, I should say, on 5/27?
Yes.
State would offer.
You know what it feels like?
May I get 1 year to clarify? I just want to be clear. You were there on the 25th, is that right?
Correct.
I just understood this testimony is this is something that happened not on the 25th, correct? These pictures?
That's right.
Were you back there on the 27th after these pictures were taken?
I was there on the 27th while those pictures were taken.
Oh, while they were being taken. So
Yes.
you're there on 2 different days.
Yes.
And do these images that are in folder 4, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images, do they represent the way that the particular parts of that house appeared as you were there?
They depict the way the scene appeared on the 27th.
That's not my question. Do they, what we're looking at now in these images, do they appear exactly as when you were there, you observed them with the particular markings and whatever chemicals they sprayed?
Yes.
That's a yes.
Yes.
All right, so you saw these images precisely as they're portrayed. In other words, you were there either at the time these pictures were taken or immediately thereafter, right?
Yes.
I have no objection.
States 9, file 4, admitted as full.
Thank you. Sir, I'm going to draw your attention. States 9, file 5, titled Chevy Lapham. Please take a look at those items.
I keep moving us around. You know what this feels like? It feels like, you know how like when you have a toddler and you're trying to get them ready to go somewhere and you're in a hurry and they fight you over every single, like the sock,
2 through 6.
the shirt, the second sock,
recognize
the pants.
what is depicted in those photographs?
Yes, I
This
do.
feels like.
What is depicted in those photographs?
So that is the Chevy Suburban that was found on Lapham Road, as it appeared on the morning of the 25th.
Do those photographs fairly and accurately portray what that vehicle looked like on that morning on May 25th, 2019?
As I found it, yes.
Okay. With the state would offer those, Your Honor. The first item has already been admitted by a previous witness.
And I'm not objecting to that one either. If I may just follow up the same question. And to be clear, you were at the Lapham Road location and you observed the vehicle in that location at the time you were doing your evidence collection on that day?
Yes, we drove from the scene to Lapham Road.
And the vehicle was exactly as portrayed in these pictures, right?
That's how I found it, correct.
Okay. Again, I have no objection.
States 9, file 5, admitted as a full exhibit.
Thank you. States 9, file 6, titled Garage A. Sir, I'm going to ask you to take a look at the photograph and depicted on the page, and then if you can, there is a photograph being pulled up on your screen. For the record, the video screen behind the witness is off. The video screen in front of him is on. With respect to pictures 12 and 13, they are side by side on your screen in front of you. If you could take a look at all those photographs, please. Sir, do you recognize those photographs?
Yes, I do.
Sorry. What are they?
They're photographs of the garage floor. It's 69 wells during processing.
And by during processing, is that something that you were present for?
Yes.
Okay. Did you look at those items that are depicted in those photographs? Do they fairly and accurately portray what you saw that day on May 25th? Was it?
I believe these were taken on the 27th.
On May 27th, 2019, and you were present on May 27th when those photographs were taken?
Yes.
And do they fairly and accurately represent what those photographs or what those items contained in the photographs are?
Yes.
State would offer.
Is there voir dire?
Yes, please. And if I could just inquire counsel for a second.
The other two items, Your Honor, contained in file 6 have already been admitted through Sergeant Pearson.
And just, I'm going to ask you kind of the same question. When you were in the garage, did it look exactly like this with the tape measures and the other crime van measuring devices that we see in these images?
During our processing, yes, this is how it looked.
I'm sorry, would you say that again, please?
During processing, this is how it looked.
Well, I'm asking whether while you were there, were these items laid out as shown in these pictures while you were collecting evidence?
Yes.
All right. So the two that are on the screen, which are identified as in subfile 6, garage A, numbers 12 and 13, which don't appear on the sheet but are on the screen. These two show exactly how it appeared while you were in that garage.
Yes.
So the red dot on the van measuring thing was already there. Is that correct?
The red dot.
In the picture on the right, that says A17. I just want to specify which one we're looking at. That was there while you were there, correct?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
When you say you don't know?
I don't remember exactly what every marking looked like, but this represents two of the stains
You saw
on the garage floor.
All right, well, I get that. We've seen a lot of pictures of stains. Well, my question is, we're talking about the white metric measuring devices. You recognize those from from the van, correct?
Correct.
So I asked you about the red dot or stain you see on the thing that's marked A17. Was that there when you were in the garage? So does that fairly and accurately represent what you saw?
I don't remember that.
You do not remember that?
I don't.
And then if you look at the image on the left that has an A16 on it, you see there's also a stain on the measuring device as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
Was that there when you were present in the garage?
I don't specifically remember that.
All right. I just have a moment.
Sure, we're not going anywhere. Take your time.
Except for the two images on the screen, 12 and 13, I object. I don't believe this witness can categorically state that this fairly and accurately represents the way it appeared while he was present.
If I may, Your Honor, 12, and what counsel is equivocating is over a small dot on a marking tab, not even on the garage floor or a marking on the house, on the ruler that is used to delineate what I guess is a measurement system.
I'm going to object to her describing the exhibit that's not yet in evidence.
You're going to have a right to argue this and admit it.
Well, the jury cannot see what this is.
That's correct.
There may be questions that the court has that will be offered outside of the presence of the jury. Because the court wants to make sure, first of all, it understands apparently what this exhibit is on the court screen.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know this becomes somewhat inconvenient,
He's going to sit him out again.
but the court may have some questions about what you cannot see, which is not yet in evidence. So perhaps we'll just take an early afternoon recess and reconvene at 3:15.
All rise. This honorable Supreme Court now stands in recess until 3:15.
Oh, my Lord. This... Wow. Um, with them out, we'll hear them. I'm assuming they're going to let us hear them argue this. It's like pulling teeth for every little thing. This is crazy. Every little thing. These are things that should have been done before this. Long before this. Oh my gosh. The wind has picked up and I hear it in my hallway. Bad weather's coming in. So... Yeah, don't cut the sound. We want to hear them argue this. They should let us hear this because this will be on the record. Their arguments will be on the record for this. So we should hear this after they send the jury out, probably. Maybe. Oh, my Lord. Oh, by the way, 300 more. For 15,000. Sorry. There are like 300 more hours of this, or... Let's see. I want to read the updates from our reporter who's in there. It says, this is what she makes of all of this so far coming back. She says that Randolph allows the testimony concerning and this is Marissa Alter with News 12 Connecticut, if anybody wants to follow her on Twitter, which is where I'm getting this from. Oh, can you not see me? People are like, where'd you go? I moved up here. I'm up here. I'm up here. Okay, so it says, this is what she says. Randolph allows the testimony concerning the presumptive blood testing. He says that case law found it's not probative by itself, but it is probative if other tests are done too, which is pretty much the exact same thing I said earlier before we went, because you can't rely on it by itself, but it is what got them to the second round of testing, right? So kind of pretty much the same thing I said earlier. That's just common sense. All right, so the next witness is Detective Matthew Riley. Oh, they're saying we might be here Monday. Mary, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah, I got small because I was trying to get out of the way. Because every time they moved the camera angle, I was in the way of something. Okay, so they said, He was working as a crime scenes investigator when Dulos disappeared. He responded to her house because of the missing persons case, suspected foul play. He testifies that as the evidence officer, he swabbed the entryway handles for DNA. That's important. He is identifying pictures of the garage, house, and Jennifer's Suburban, but the pictures are not being shown on the screen right now. Now there's pictures of suspected blood on the garage floor. That's the last she reported. Lucy's snoring again. Lucy's really into this case. She's been snoring for pretty much all of it. But that's okay. That's okay. Break is until 3:15. So this is the break that they normally take in the afternoons. He said they're going to do one at 3:15. They come back from lunch at 2 and then do a break at 3:15. But he said they're just going to take it early this time and then come back at 3:15. So now, here we are with 15 minutes to just hang out and discuss everything that was just accomplished, which was so much, right? Hey, Patches, do you have enough groceries and snacks for the weekend so you can stay home and rest? No. I need to get some, but the weather's really bad right now, so I'm not going anywhere today. Probably I'll go get some in the morning. But Cora will be out early today, and I plan on other than grocery shopping, I plan on staying in and resting all weekend. Let's see. Oops. Yay, Mary, welcome to the family. What was whose name? Oh, the reporter, Marissa Alter, Marissa Alter, Alter. And her Twitter handle is Marissa Alter, at Marissa Alter. That's it. Her name. Let's see. Did they not file these motions pre-trial? Did judge not get to them? Well, they filed a whole heap of motions yesterday and motions in limine yesterday before court started. And it was crazy because they had over and over and over all these motions, and they didn't even get to hear them all. So we're still going to have to go through all of these. Not all of them. A lot of them. Whole lot of them. As we go. I'm surprised that all this stuff wasn't done beforehand. Hey, we were talking about you earlier. Wait, where'd that go? Hold on. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Gosh, I'm going to get so good at working this, and y'all are going to be like, oh my gosh, she's so good at working technology. Y'all are going to be asking me to join Geek Squad and come fix your computers. Not there yet, but we're getting there. We were talking about you earlier. Because we were talking about Zachariah Anderson trial, and somebody had asked what the update was, and I told them I saw that you were live, but I didn't get to watch it because I went to bed. But I saw you were live, so I told them to watch on your channel. To watch on your channel. Hello, welcome. Those of you joining us, welcome. Welcome. Oh, Lucy's gone. Lucy has left the building. Oh, she went over there to snore. She got mad because I pointed out that she's lazy and snoring. Welcome, welcome. This has been the day of pulling teeth. It has been the day of pulling teeth. We have made 0 progress, and we have just spent our whole day waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. We got transcripts from a habeas petition that was filed just prior to the trial. We were going over that. Ah, there you go. There's your answer. Habeas corpus petition. There you go. There you go. There you go. Woo! Audio.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Back to session.
Scared me.
The jury's not coming out.
No, Your Honor.
Yeah. Everybody, no one seems.
You want to proceed?
So again, what the court sees on its screen. The court does not know States 9, File 6, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. State sign file 6, pictures 12 and 13.
And 14, Your Honor, although that one hasn't been put on the screen.
Well, the court
That's
wouldn't
not-
see those numbers, 12 and 13, on the screen.
That would be on the hard copy, Your Honor. I have a, no, only 12, 13. He's also speaking about 14.
What the court sees is A16 and A17.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so that would correspond to which numbers?
12 and 13.
12 and 13. And Attorney Schoenholm was in the process of basically voir direing on 12 and 13. And the court had an opportunity to consider what was suspected as an objection by Attorney Schoenholm. The court is going to make a distinction between authentication and the concerns of Attorney Schoenholm. What the court is looking at is a measuring device and stains. Concerning authentication, the measuring device is what it appears to be, a measuring device, in both 12 and 13. They both purport to be measuring devices.
Thank you.
The court sees that there is no controversy concerning whether they are measuring devices. The question is whether those measuring devices appeared that way when Detective Riley saw them. Is that correct? Because he indicated that he doesn't remember the red dot on 13 and the marking on 12.
Well, the question that was asked is whether these fairly and accurately depict what he saw, and if it, there's a lot of other pictures, but if they didn't, I'll just note, Your Honor, although it wasn't put up on the screen, number 14, the next picture, also has a red, what looks like another drop. And why this is important, Your Honor, is because if some of these small drops are blood-like, what's on the measuring device also looks the same. It's the same color, may also be blood-like. So the suggestion that there is more than what was actually there, that's the problem with the way the question was asked. This goes in, suggests there's more. Maybe that's blood. Maybe they dropped it on there while they were collecting it, but this witness is not the one to testify about it. That's why it's important to the defense. And I notice there seems to be another similar marking on picture 14, the next one. I don't know if Your Honor just wants me to, instead of...
We'll take the representation that there's another stain on 14.
Right.
But the question to this witness is, as the court heard the question, is this how these two exhibits, ID exhibits, appeared to you when you saw them? Said, I do not remember the stain on 12, and I do not remember the stain on 13. So now the question becomes admissibility. So the jury is going to hear that testimony. I do not remember what's on 12, the marking on 12. I do not remember that dot on 13. And the objection is, well, there's no indication that this fairly and accurately depicts what Detective Riley saw on the 25th of May or the 27th of May.
For the record, I think it's former Detective Riley, not, I think Your Honor used the name Clabby, I think, just for the record.
I thought it said Riley, nevertheless. And the court is just going to indicate what its ruling will be. The court is focused on the authentication of the measuring device. The jury is going to hear that that didn't appear to be what I saw on that date, and leave any cross-examination if they are admitted to counsel. Because it is going to be obvious that the jury is going to think, how did a reddish-looking stain that appears on a measuring device get on a measuring device, whereas the stains on the garage floor allegedly were there 2 days before the measuring device showed up? That's going to be what they think. But this is the state's offer. You can bring the jury back in.
Your Honor, before the jury comes back, there is one other issue. The court overruled the objection regarding the testimony regarding whether the reagent or presumptive, the reason for this witness's actions. But there's going to be an effort in the next 10 minutes, I assume, to try and offer, looks like, I can't tell from just the image, I'd have to call it up on the computer, 3, perhaps 4 images of somebody taking a picture with a night camera of the glow, which I submit is a separate issue of whether or not he, because I can't cross-examine the images, and I would ask that that be at least addressed outside the presence of the jury as to whether or not he was wearing, I don't know, special glasses to take the swab at the time, because the pictures are more prejudicial, in my view, unfairly prejudicial than the testimony that he did it because of the presumptive test using either the inositol or the KM.
If I can just direct counsel to the screen, are these the ones? If I can. Because I do actually agree. I'd rather get this out while the jury is out of the room. If I could just have 1 minute. This would be under file 14, Chevy Suburban. And is this what counsel's talking about?
I believe that is correct.
So this would be file 14, Chevy Suburban. This photograph is just labeled 14. Then there's 15, and then 16. I believe those are those the 3?
Let me just have a moment. I have to call it up on my computer, Your Honor, because the image is just so black. In other words, I can't tell from the paper copy, so if I just have a moment.
Michelle's going to
This won't be finished before Christmas, the way it's going.
Sure, could you just show me the other ones again, please?
Okay, this is 16, so this would be 15, and then this is 14.
Yes, those would be those are the images that I would be objecting to. The later testing showed that this was not blood, and these three images, which I don't know if Your Honor can see them, they don't aid the jury in any event, and the fact of putting it in has no probative value whatsoever, but it will certainly make the jury confused to think it was evidence of blood when it's going to be in a week or two shown that it had nothing to do, that it was not blood.
Your Honor, again, I feel like this is a backdoor to Your Honor's ruling already this morning that the state can offer testimony regarding the presumptive test, not only the luminol, but the KM Castlemeyer test. Counsel can, of course, cross-examine Detective Riley as well as any lab witnesses, present any case he wishes to do. But like Your Honor indicated earlier, it goes to its weight, not its admissibility. And this was something Your Honor decided and is allowed. So just by virtue of the fact that it's a luminol test, I don't think affects at this point its admissibility. Now, when we get to authenticating the photograph, I guess I can do that now outside the presence of the jury. We can go through the motions if Your Honor wishes.
Well, the court does not think this is a difficult matter to resolve. The state, of course, the state has its strategy, but the state can ask its witness, is this a conclusive test? This luminol test can show not only blood, but 30 other substances. Isn't that right? So the court sees no unfair prejudice. This is the state's presentation. The court sees no unfair prejudice. And again, the court can ask, how many substances would the luminol test detect if it is unclear? So the court sees no unfair prejudice at this stage.
Would the court at least permit short voir dire about these three images so we're not taking up time in front of the jury, and then my issue is preserved for the record?
Well, the court thinks the voir dire is just as short as the court made it. This can show 30 substances, correct?
But he hasn't answered it.
Well, no, I'm not asking.
Yeah.
But that's as far as the court can ask that while the jury is here.
Yes.
If the court is unclear.
Did you hear her? She said, yes,
Well,
bring the
I don't
jury
even
here.
know if he was present when these pictures were taken, whether he saw it.
Well, I think that because counsel knows their case, it may be that counsel is assuming that the jury is going to draw certain conclusions, not based on what's coming in now, but based on what counsel knows about the case. If this is shown to the jury, just this photo, with some testimony as to this is what the luminol test showed, the court can see no unfair prejudice in that, and cross-examination that this isn't conclusive.
Well, more to the point, Your Honor, I would submit that this witness doesn't have the proper background or authentication or experience to testify that what it shows other than it's a glowing purple image in the dark. You would need someone with scientific background to explain what the luminol is and what it shows, not a hearsay statement by a detective.
Well, what the court can envision is, I sprayed this section colloquially with luminol and that's what happened. Now, where that testimony goes from there will have to be heard. And I think the objections would have to come after that point. But
Well,
just to
all-
say this is the result that we saw is not prejudiced unfairly. What does it mean That's the next question. What does it mean?
Well, is the court then to preclude that next question or wait for an objection on that? That's why we're doing this outside the presence of the jury.
Well, it depends on what the state is going to try to get in. The court indicated what the question, the threshold question would be, and then the court has to see where it goes from there.
May I make a suggestion with respect to the Illuminat, those photographs, Your Honor?
Yes.
I think a lot of their, for their foundation, it is in file 14 out of 15 for a reason. As Your Honor can see through the many, many photographs that the state intends to introduce, that there will be a lot of testimony concerning what was found in the garage, as well as Detective Riley's reasoning and his training experience and his determination. I'm not simply going to put the photograph up and have it conveyed for what it is. There will be a foundation for it. Perhaps we should wait until that time is at hand, I guess, for that determination. And what I will do is just mark before those pictures come up, and we can do an offer of proof outside the presence of the jury with Detective Riley on the stand.
Okay, the court would prefer not to have the jury keep going out this afternoon, so if we can go back to the other 12 and 13. So that's where we are at this point.
Yes, Your Honor. And actually, can I? 12 and 13? Yeah. Your Honor, just for the record, if I can also, this is on a side note. Apparently, even though the TV is off and it is something not being streamed, I know that this is something that is live streamed, the ID issues that are seen on the camera feed are still being shown. So the whole point is the jury doesn't see it off of the screen. However, it is being still live streamed, the ID issues. So that apparently is something we did discover during the break. But I want to make it very clear that the screen behind the jury has been off, and we will ensure that the camera or the video camera on the side is off as well.
Thank you.
This, before we put up, is now back on the screen, is 12 and 13. I will leave the video in front of Detective Riley down until Your Honor indicates I can put it back up.
So the last line of questioning from Attorney Schoenhorn essentially was those marks on those measuring devices, Detective Riley did not see at the time he was at the property on either the 25th or the 27th.
That's not my memory, Your Honor. My memory, and perhaps Detective Riley can indicate, is that he does not recall seeing those two marks.
Correct. And that's the last line that the court heard.
Correct, and that it therefore this witness cannot testify that that image fairly and accurately represents what is in the image at the time he was present. That's my argument.
And the state's offer, Your Honor, is with respect to the what's at issue is the markings on the garage floor. A small mark contained on the measuring document that either Detective Riley or one of the other officers actually put down there does not make the document moot at this point.
The court's view is that the measuring, we call them devices, are what they purport to be in the photograph. The conclusions that the jury draws about how those stains arrived on those measuring devices is going to be up to the jury. You can bring the jury back in.
Bring the jury. So starting next week, we're going to have to start the trial about 2 hours later. I won't be able to start until like 11:45, noonish, something like that, Eastern, for the next 8 weeks. So the good news about that is we'll be able to do a little bit more speed trialing, so we can listen at 1.25 at the times when we are nodding off and falling asleep. So, but we'll be starting.
Would counsel stipulate to the presence of all of the jurors?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
A little bit later.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, when we left, counsel was still on voir dire.
I've finished my voir dire, so I'll just note that my objection is that this witness cannot state that these two images, and I'll note, I make the same claim with regard to number 14 in this package, fairly and accurately represents what he observed that day. So I'll just rely on
We
my
make
objection.
sure the day we're talking about is clear. Is this the 25th or the 27th?
May I inquire, Your Honor, just to get it from Detective Riley? Sir, do you recall what day those photographs were taken?
Yes, these were taken on the 27th.
Thank you. The objection is overruled. This states 9, file 6.
Yes, sir.
States 9, file 6 will be admitted as full.
Thank you. May I approach the witness again, Your Honor? Do you have it? If I can. Again, states 9A. Sir, if you could take a look at what's been marked as file
I love
7,
1.25
garage B. If you could take a few minutes and take a look at those photographs.
I love it.
Do you recognize what's depicted on those pages, please?
Yes, I do.
What is depicted on those?
They are photographs of the garage floor as we were processing it, and some of the items of evidence that we observed and collected.
As you were processing, what day?
This would have been on the 27th.
Do those photographs fairly and accurately portray what those items looked like on May 27, 2019?
Yes.
The state would offer, Your Honor, there's also a PDF, but that has already been admitted.
It's like aggressive typing.
Yes, and I just want to clarify now with this folder marked number 7, Garage B, does this folder, are all the images in there, as you recall it, that it fairly and accurately represents what you saw on that date of May 27th?
Yes.
I have no objection to this folder, Your Honor.
Thank you. States 9, file 7, admitted as full.
Thank you. Actually, to show you states 9, file 8, title Garage C. If you could take a look at those photographs. For the record, Your Honor, the screen behind the witness is dark, and the screen in front of him, I'm pulling up. If you can also take a look at that screen when you have a moment, sir. Do you recognize the items depicted in those photographs?
Yes.
What are they?
Again, it's the garage of the residence and some of the stains found on the garage floor and on the photograph depicted on the screen is something we found on the interior face of one of the garage doors.
What day are we talking about?
This would be on the 27th as well.
Do those photographs fairly and accurately portray what you indicated they are?
Yes.
The state would offer it?
Make the same inquiry, may I, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to ask the same question just so that I be consistent. You look at the images in this subfolder on this disk, number 8. You look at all the images, including the one that's on the screen because it didn't print, because it's a PDF, or it's an NEF, which I don't even know what that is. But do all of these images, including the one on the screen, fairly and accurately represent what you saw that evening, including whatever measuring devices are depicted in them?
Yes.
I have no objection to this folder.
States 9, file 8, admitted as full.
Thank you. Sir, if I may? States 9, file 9, labeled garage D. Sir, if you could take a few moments, please, and look at that document.
Remember she said that, or they said, somebody said before all this happened when they sent the jury out the first time that there are like 50 pictures. I hope they're not going to do this for all 50. Like, don't mind us. We'll just wait right here until 2042 and this
And could you bring up
is over.
photograph 10, please?
Photograph 10.
Yeah, 371.
Thank you.
Next one, please.
Thank you. Do you recognize what's depicted on that
Yes.
screen in front of you? And for the record, again, the screen behind you is blank or dark.
Yes. Again, this is the garage floor at 69 Wells and some of the exhibits that we found and staining that we found on the floor.
Now, with respect to these images, were they taken on different days or the same day? Do you recall?
Well, I know that 371 was taken on the 25th.
And 371, are you indicating that's the one right in front of you?
Correct.
10-371?
Yes.
Okay. And the others?
The others appear to be taken on the 27th.
Okay. On each of the images that are portrayed on that document, sir, do each of them fairly and accurately depict what you saw on both the 25th and then 27th for the image in front of you?
Yes.
State would offer it.
May I, what, dear? Could you just explain to me, you're saying that the particular image marked 10-371 was taken on a different day than the others that are in this image? And this subfolder, I mean?
Yes.
And what is it about that particular image that you realize was taken on a different day?
I recognize the exhibit, sir, and I know that I seized that exhibit on the 25th.
When you say exhibit, just because it's not shown yet, you're talking about somebody wrote the word exhibit number and a number on it, right?
Correct.
That's in the actual photograph.
Yes.
And there seems to be some kind of green material to the left. Do you recall seeing that when you were there on the 25th?
Yes.
And there seems to maybe be some curly thing that might be a piece of hair just above where the little measuring device is. Do you recall seeing that?
Yes.
And you were present for the other images as well on the 27th? The rest of the ones in the subfolder marked 9?
Yes.
And they look exactly the way, or that you recall them appearing, that the image appeared that's shown in these photographs, correct?
At some point during the processing, yes.
While you were present, though?
While I was present.
All right, no objection to these images.
States 9, file 9, admitted as full.
Thank you. If I may approach again. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, they're still going through all of these.
States 9, file 10, labeled garage E. Can you take a few moments, please, and review that document?
All of these pictures. At this point, it's taken so long, I would just be like, look, let's just show the ones that we know were swabbed, tested, approved, confirmed. Move it right along.
Okay, can I see 3-186 on the screen, please?
Listen to that computer.
And just for the record,
Booting
the
up.
screen behind you is blank. The one in front of you should show that image.
What's she taking notes
Yes,
of? What
I
she think she's
recognize
writing?
And with respect to each of the images contained on the document in front of you, sir, do you recognize each of those images?
Yes.
From what day?
These were from the 27th.
And were you present for when these images, or on the 27th for these images?
Yes.
Okay, and each of these, do they fairly and accurately portray what you saw that day?
Yes.
State would offer.
May I inquire, Judge? Can you look at the image marked 4-187 in this subfolder? I'm going to ask you to indicate to me whether or not the stain or mark that's on the measuring device, it appears to be the same color as the other spots, was on the measuring device when you were there on May, you said the 25th or the 27th for these pictures?
These were on the 27th.
Okay. So do you recall whether or not that stain drop was there when you, that's depicted in that specific image 4-187?
It doesn't look like a stain drop. It looks like some plant material.
Well, it's no, I'm talking about on top of the measuring device. We looking at the same picture?
Yes.
4-187, there's a number 55 in the picture, right? So I'm talking about the right-hand smaller measuring device.
Yes.
You see right in the middle of it, there, near the middle, there's a stain of some sort.
Here's the stain.
I think that looks like a piece of plant material, sir.
Oh, do you know whether it was there at the time? I'm just asking.
Yes, there were plant material there on the floor at the time this photo was taken.
And right on top of the measuring device, you're saying it fairly accurately represents, you recall it being there?
On top of the measuring device?
Yes.
I don't remember specifically.
All right,
Stain
so I'm going to make that same objection with regard to this particular image, but the rest of them, I just want to be sure the fairly and accurately represent the way you recall the scene that's depicted in these images on that date, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm only objecting to the one image, Your Honor.
Thank you. The objection is overruled. States 9, file 10, admitted as full.
Thank you. If I may. Thank you.
Has anything been said that would lead the jury to look at the defendant as being
9,
involved yet?
sir,
They have
file
not
11,
even talked
garage
about
F.
her yet.
Please take a moment and take a look at that document.
Her name has not even been mentioned yet. Zero times
Do you
her name
recognize
has been
the
mentioned.
photographs depicted on that page?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
These are various stains found on the garage floor at 69 Wells.
Do you recall what day?
They appear to be taken on the 27th.
And in looking at each of those photographs, do they fairly and accurately portray what you saw the garage, you saw that day on the 27th in May of 2019?
Yes.
State would offer it.
If I just could have one moment, Your Honor.
Yes. The court cannot see that ID.
It's actually, may I have a moment?
They literally have not even mentioned
Thought
her
I had
name
an
one time.
extra copy of this, Your Honor.
Well, first, the court will hear what the objection is after that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let me just ask you the same question. In this group that's in folder 10, garage E, do these all represent fairly and accurately what you yourself saw when you were there on that date?
Yes.
I'm not going to object to these.
States 9, file 11, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Admitted as full.
Thank you. Riley, if I may. I'm sorry, Your Honor. States 9, file 12. labeled Garage G. Sir, if you could, please take a look at that document. There will also be another photograph depicted on your screen in front of you. You can take a look at that. And just for the record, again, the screen behind the witness is blank. There's only a screen in front of him.
And could I see 196, please?
.196 is also, I believe that would be one.
Yes. I have the correct one on the screen. Thank you.
Oh,
So are you finished reviewing all those photographs?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize the photographs depicted both on the screen in front of you as well as the document in front of you?
Yes.
Do you recall on what day that these photographs were taken?
These were taken on, again, on the 27th.
And were you present when they were taken?
Yes.
And looking at each of the images on the document in front of you as well as the screen in front of you, do they fairly, well, I should ask this first. What are those images of?
These are, the photos depict an item of evidence that we found on the garage floor as well as staining and some of the processing methods that were used.
And do these photographs fairly and accurately represent those items as you saw them on the day in May 27, 2019?
Yes.
State would offer them.
Voir dire.
I'm just going to ask you about the same question, but I'm going to ask about a specific image in here, just to be clear. You were present when all these items that are shown in these particular images were on the floor or on the car, correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you separately about 18, but all the rest of them, those fairly and accurately represent what you actually observed on May 27th, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to ask with regard to Exhibit 18, it's obviously not taken at the same time as the first image that's up on your screen. Were you there for that?
I was there during that process, yes.
Were you there when this picture was taken, which shows the process being completed?
Yes, I saw the completed product.
You did see that?
Yes.
All right. I don't object to these then, Judge.
States 9, file 12, admitted as full.
hi, addicts.
Thank you, sir. States 9, file 13, labeled garbage cans. Please take a look at that document.
Hello.
Do you recognize those photographs, sir?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
These are photographs of garbage cans that were found in the A corner of the garage.
And I'm taking a look at all the images on that page, sir. Do you recall what day these photographs were taken?
It appears that 1, 2, 3, and 5 were most likely taken on the 25th, and 4 was taken on the 27th.
Okay. Now, with respect to taking each of those images in and of itself, because they're 5 images, do they fairly and accurately represent what the garbage cans look like on 525 and or 527?
Yes.
Okay. And the state would offer them, Your Honor.
I want to clarify the disjunctive and or. So did they all look like that that you observed on the 25th of May, in all these images, whether one was taken on a different day or not?
Without regard to the scale that are depicted, yes. That's the way the garbage cans looked.
And the difference is on the 27th, somebody put the little scale stickers that's from the evidence van?
It appears that photo 4, somebody actually wrote on the, can I see photo 4, please?
We're at 14,715. Inching right along, y'all.
We'll just call it up for you.
Yes. That photo there was definitely taken on the 27th.
So if they have a little measuring thing and then there's somebody hand wrote something on it, if it was handwritten on it, it's the 27th. If it's blank, it's maybe the 25th or the 27th, or we don't know.
Just for this specific item. Yes.
Okay. And just so that I'm clear, as far as the garbage pail is concerned, do you know if they were in these exact positions when you were there, or were they moved?
In the first photograph is how they appeared as we found them. And then during our examination and search, they were probably open, maybe they moved slightly, but they were relatively in that same position.
Okay, so relatively in the same position.
Correct.
No objection.
States 9, file 13, admitted as flawed.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, thank you.
States 9, file 14, labeled Chevy Suburban. Sir, if you can please take a look at that document.
Yeah, we can hear their computer, and it sounds like it's struggling. It's like a 2004 computer, and whoever's typing on it is aggressively typing. Like, aggressively. But at least it's one of the soft keyboards, and it's not like the judge in the Bryce Rhodes trial where it was so loud.
Okay.
Do you recognize, well, let me start with this. Photographs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Do you recall, or do you know when those photographs were taken?
Yes.
When were they taken?
These were taken on the 28th of May, 2019.
And where, what are they depictions of?
They are depictions of the Chevy Suburban seized from Lapham Road in New Canaan. And these photographs were taken during processing of that vehicle at the New Canaan Police Department.
Were you present for the processing of the vehicle?
Yes.
And were you present during, to see all of the items depicted in these photographs?
Yes.
Okay, now with respect to items 1 through 16, do those photographs fairly and accurately depict what they are portrayed in the images to be?
Yes.
Okay, now with respect to 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, were those taken on a different day?
I see photograph 22, please. And 24 as well, please. Okay.
And just for the record, the screen behind you is blank and these are all appearing in front of you.
So photographs 17 through 21 were taken on June 26th at Troop Chief Bridgeport.
And were you present on June 21st? Was that the day? I'm sorry.
I believe it was 26th.
26. Were you present on June 26th?
Yes.
Were you present for these photographs?
Yes.
There you go.
And do they fairly and accurately portray what they are depicted?
Yes.
What are they?
These are items or conditions that we found on the underside of that Chevy Suburban seized on Lapham Road.
And that was with respect to, I'm sorry, 18, 19, 20, and 21?
Yes.
Okay. And do they fairly and accurately portray, just to be clear, up to 21? From that?
Yes.
Okay. With respect to 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, do you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
What are they?
These are photographs of latent prints taken from the exterior of that Chevy Suburban. These were taken on the 28th of May, 2019, at the New Canaan Police Department.
Were you present when these photographs were taken?
Yes.
Do they fairly and accurately depict the, what'd you say, latent prints?
Yes.
That were on the vehicle that day?
Yes.
They would offer the 9, file 14 in its entirety.
May I, Ledger? I'm going to just separate out for the moment numbers 14, 15, and 16 for the moment. I'm just going to ask you about the rest of them in toto. With regard to all of those images, 1 through 13, and then 17 through 26, were you present in the location where they're shown so that you could say that what's being depicted in there, including fingerprints, you saw exactly what's in these images? Is that correct? And on the day that it was taken, you were there, you saw it, right?
Yes.
All right. So let me just ask you, there are 3 images that that there's images of, but on the paper copy, they basically look black, okay? So my question is, these were taken at night, or were they taken in the dark, correct?
Correct.
Were you present when that was done?
Yes.
You were in the room when they turned off the light?
Yes.
And you watched them take the pictures?
Yes.
Those particular images were illuminated with a black light, is that correct?
No.
They were illuminated using a chemical, correct?
Yes.
He's so slow to go through all these too. He fights over every single one of them, and he does it so slow. And my ADHD brain is like...
And the photographs were taken without a flash for those 3 images, correct?
Correct.
Can I just have a moment?
No, you've had a bunch of moments. We're ready.
This was an issue that did arise before. I'm going to raise my objection, and depending, in any event, I'm going to ask the court to give a limiting instruction regarding, but I don't object to 1 through 13 and 17 through 26 on subfolder 14.
So what the court can do right now is just exclude photos 14 through 16 and admit, pending argument, and admit as full 1 through 13, 17 through the balance as full.
I mean, we got 45 minutes
For the
left.
record, the state would be attempting to introduce those throughout the course of the testimony at a later point. to hear once a foundation has been made. This is just to expedite the process of entering all the photographs, if I may. May I continue with the last folder?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Expedite, yes, expedite. We got 45 minutes left for today, and we've accomplished. I've learned some techie things. We accomplished that.
Sir, states 9, folder 19, I'm sorry, not 19, 15, labeled Range Rover. Please take a look at that document.
The jurors are back in the room now.
Yes, can I see photo 13, please?
Hide my moment, they're whispering again. Expedite. Here goes the computer. Hear it? Fired up. It like I
Sir, do
almost
you see
expect to
the
hear like that
photo
old
reflected on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
dial-up sound.
And photo 8, please. Okay, I recognize these.
You do. Sir, with respect to photos, one, well, let me just ask you, are all those photos taken on the same day?
This is in Connecticut.
Not sure about 1 and 2, but the rest were taken 3 through 13 were taken on the 27th.
So 3 through 13 were taking on the 27th, where?
At 69 Wells.
Okay, and with respect to 1 and 2, do you recognize what's depicted in those photographs?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what is depicted in those photographs?
That's the garage at 69 Wells.
And anything else inside those photographs?
That's a Range Rover that was found parked in the center bay.
With respect to 1 and 2, when you were present at 69 Wells on May 25th and May 27th, what is depicted, or does this photograph fairly and accurately depict what the garage with the vehicle looked like?
Yes, it does.
And with respect to 3 through 13, were you present during those photographs?
Yes.
Okay, do they fairly and accurately represent what they are depicted to be?
Yes.
Now, with respect to 14 through 18, do you recall those?
Yes, these were photographs taken of the Range Rover during additional processing on June 26th at Troop G Bridgeport.
And were you present for that additional processing?
Yes,
And do you recognize these photographs and what's depicted in them?
I do.
And do they fairly and accurately depict what you indicated they are to be?
Yes.
State would offer file 15, states 9.
And voir dire.
Mr. Rutherford, do you remember the question I've asked you like 15 times now?
Yes, I do.
Is it the answer is the same for all these pictures?
Yes.
All right, I'm not going to object to these.
Thank you. States 9, file 15, admitted as full.
Thank you, and I may just first with.
We all remember.
Sergeant Briley, I want to talk about May 25th, okay? The night of May 24th into May 25th, 2019. You indicated you arrived at 69 Wells at about 2 o'clock in the morning?
Approximately, ma'am, yes.
Okay. What did you do when you first arrived?
When I first arrived on scene, I parked the van in the cul-de-sac. We took a walk up the driveway to basically clear it of any items of evidentiary value. And then we parked the van in the driveway and await a search warrant.
Did you write a search warrant?
I did not.
Okay. Just for clarity, what is a search warrant?
Search warrant is authorizations signed by a judge that authorizes police officers to enter and search a premises or person.
Was a search warrant obtained for 69 Wells that night, or that morning, I should say?
Yes,
Did you review that?
I did.
At what time did you review that search warrant?
I would say approximately 4 o'clock in the morning.
And I believe what was your assignment again for 69 Wells that day?
Evidence collection.
Okay.
We made it.
Now, if I can, sir, I'm gonna draw your attention to States 9, to the screen behind you, which is not on. Thank you. States 9, file 1.
$45 minutes
If
left
you
of
could
the
take a
day. We're
look
just now
behind you,
getting
sir.
testimony.
Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I did.
When you arrived that night, what do you recognize that to be, by the way?
That's the scene at 69 Wells.
And when you say you went up the driveway and parked the van, can you show where you went? If you wouldn't mind standing up, sir. Your Honor, is it okay if he? Thank you.
Well, when I did park the van up on the hill, it was over in this direction here. It may have been left out of the overall photograph.
Okay. And picture 2 out of that same file, sir. Do you recognize that area?
Yes. That is the exterior of the garage at 69 Wells.
And is this what the exterior of the garage looked like the morning of 5/25?
That's as we found it.
That tells you. Is this well, if I can. And then this photograph, sir?
That is a photo of the back of the house at 69 Wells.
Now, I believe you testified a little bit ago about taking swabs off of doors. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are there, where you took the swabs that day, is that depicted in those photographs?
Some of the points of entry, yes.
Could you please point those out?
Yes. Here, the mudroom door, and here are these French patio doors.
Okay, and just for the record, that's the middle part of the photograph?
Yes.
Okay.
Now remember, the
What
mudroom
about,
door is where they found
picture 4.
Fotis DNA.
Has a photo of the side of the house. I believe that's the east side of the house.
And in about the middle, I guess lower, is that a door as well?
Yes,
Did you swab that door?
I did.
And when I say swab, did you utilize that same process that you spoke about earlier?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, were you wearing gloves when you conducted each of those swabs?
Yes.
Do you change your gloves?
Yes.
Tell me why.
Because we're looking for minute quantities of biologic material, and we didn't want to contaminate it with kind of foreign biologic material.
How often would you change your gloves?
When conducting these DNA swabs, after every sample.
So every time you swabbed a item, you would change your gloves?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any other protective gear on?
I was wearing a face mask.
And I'm actually going to go back to the first photograph, sir. And if I can, just zoom in a little bit on that. Is there a area that you swabbed on the front of the house depicted in that photograph?
Yes, the front door here.
I have to
Okay.
hide the counter. It's stressing
And
me out.
did you change your gloves for that as well?
Yes.
Thank you. You can have a seat for now, sir. Thank you.
I'll do it when we get closer, but right now it's just stressing me out. I like to just look at it later and get excited.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the husband, Fotis was not supposed
Now,
to be coming
on
there,
that
but he
day
did go there the
in,
week before with permission.
On May 25th, 2019, you were the evidence officer, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, can you again just explain what that means?
So it was my responsibility to identify items that we were going to seize and ensure that they were documented properly. Any kind of measurement that needed to be taken was taken. Any kind of field testing I would conduct, and then I would be responsible for the collection, the packaging, the labeling,
Okay.
and the reporting.
Is there a particular area of the house that on May 25th, 2019 you started with?
Happy anniversary, Nana R.
Actually, I'll just, if I can, just show you. I'll start showing you some of the photographs. We'll start with this.
It's that computer again.
Dates 9, file 2, I believe, picture 1. Did you enter the garage on May 25th, 2019?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was the garage door open when you arrived? As
Yes.
it is in that photograph?
When we arrived, that center bay door was open.
Were there officers on scene when you arrived?
Yes.
And were there officers inside the garage when you arrived?
I don't believe so.
But the door was open?
The door was open.
Okay. Now, as you entered the garage, did you, where did you go or what did you do?
So once we obtained a search warrant, we began our walkthrough, and I entered the garage, entered the rest of the home through the door at the front of the Range Rover, and went and opened the front door to allow additional members of the team in.
Do you recognize what's depicted in that photograph, sir?
Yes, that is the right side of the garage.
Okay. And is that how you saw it that day?
Yes.
And further, that was states 2, picture 2, this is picture 3. And what does that photograph depict?
That's again a photograph of the right side of the garage.
Okay. And picture 4?
That is the left side of the garage.
And picture 5?
The center of the garage, taken from one of the corners, looking at the door that would lead into the mudroom and kitchen of the first floor.
Is that the door that you entered the house on?
That I initially did, yes.
Was it locked?
I don't think so, ma'am.
I'm going to show you file or picture 6. What does that photograph depict?
That is a photograph of the that door to the mudroom. This is what I call the exterior side, or the garage side of the door. And on that doorknob, we found a visible fingerprint, or what appeared to us to be a visible fingerprint. And that's why you see the scale, the mark up there.
Visible fingerprint from the door.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions of that, but before I do, what information had you been given prior
From
to,
garage.
as the evidence officer, it was your job to determine what, if anything, would be found for evidentiary value and seized, is that correct?
Yes, as other members of the team, if they saw something, they would bring it to my attention, and then I would decide whether or not we were going to seize it.
So at this point, when you entered the house as the evidence officer, what information had you have that allowed you to make these decisions?
Objection, hearsay, and vague.
Well, the evidence so far, as the court understood the evidence, is that he read the warrant affidavit.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Lady Libra.
So
Hi, Gina Crawford. Thank you.
that is the objection. If the testimony goes beyond that, the court can hear another objection. But if the answer is he read the warrant affidavit, that's the...
I'm not going to object to that.
My next question, Your Honor, is what is the information that contained in that warrant affidavit that helped you or guided you in making your decisions?
So I'm going to object on hearsay and relevance ground. You got a warrant, so he took his actions.
The objection is sustained.
If I can, Your Honor. Sir, why were you there at 69 Wells that day?
Objection asked and answered.
Well, at this point it becomes preliminary. He was involved in a missing persons investigation. That's preliminary, it's already been established.
Okay. Now, I'm going to draw your attention to the photograph right behind you, sir, photograph 6, on, I believe, file 2. Now, I'm going to scroll in, if I can. Do you see that marking or that measurement?
Yes.
What is it?
That is how I would designate what was going to be seized. I would, assign it, our version of the exhibit, we call it an exhibit, that's the EX. We'll give it a sequential number for identification purposes, and we'll either write it on some sort of label, or we'll drop one of those, plastic tents or placards with a number on it to denote it.
And so why did you give this number a designation of Exhibit 12?
Because on this side is pretty clearly visible a fingerprint. And then on the reverse side of it, we saw what possibly looked like some blood-like stains. Given what we had seen in the garage during our walkthrough, we found that this was probably a pretty valuable piece of evidence.
Okay, a couple of questions. Can you see, well, you indicated a fingerprint was visible?
Yes.
Was that after any kind of reagent or testing was done on it, or before?
No, it was clearly visible to the naked eye.
Could you see it on that photograph behind you, please? If you could take a look.
Not very well. I can't see any rich detail.
On the photograph? Okay. And with respect to the Exhibit 12, what exactly is that in reference to? I guess that's not a good question, but is the Exhibit 12 the fingerprint, or is it the doorknob, or is it the door that it's on?
Well, this is, it was my intent to seize the entire doorknob. So Exhibit 12 represents the doorknob.
Okay. Did you seize the entire doorknob?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the question the court asked counsel, does that include the plate behind the doorknob?
Yes, Your Honor.
If I can. Oh, I do have to zoom out, sorry. There. Picture 7. What does that depict, sir?
That is the doorknob after I had fumed it with super glue, cyanoacrylate. And this was taken in the van prior to final packaging.
Okay, if you could walk me through, please, pretty much everything you said. How did you seize it? We'll start with that.
So again, I donned new gloves, wore a face mask, and very carefully unscrewed it from the door without trying to disrupt either the fingerprint or any of the apparent stains on the interior side of it. Prior to doing this, I had set up a small fuming tent on the van. And this is a small device that we use. We secure the doorknob inside that fuming tent. Once I removed it, we put a small hot plate with a small amount of super glue or crazy glue on that hot plate. It creates fumes inside the plastic tent, and the fumes polymerize or kind of cement that print in place. So there's no chance of it being destroyed inside of the box that I eventually secured. So it can get to the lab in one piece, and the lab can examine it.
How long did it stay in the super glue tent?
Usually I'll set a timer for 10 or 12 minutes, and I'll just start checking it. It really depends on the item itself, the humidity. I keep a close eye on it because, like fingerprint dust, if you overfume it, you'll destroy the print.
And how do you package it after the fuming is done?
So after this was done, I secured it in a cardboard box with zip ties.
Was it given any kind of evidence number?
Yes, we designated it as State Police Exhibit 12.
Now, with respect to State Police Exhibit 12, is there also a number that is given to the exhibits to delineate it in association with the case you're there for? Well, if I could rephrase that, is there an incident number or an evidence number that's associated with this investigation?
Yes, there is, and that's where a little confusion comes in. So we have a state police case number that we worked under. Initially, this was going to be simply an assist to New Canaan. All of our numbers, or all of our exhibits are just numbered sequentially from 1 to whatever in order. Those are our numbers. That's for our documentation purposes. The intent was to turn these over, all of our exhibits over to the New Canaan Police Department, and usually the local police departments will put their own evidence labels on it, which could have a different number. Again, it's just a tracking number for the individual departments. Then, once it gets to the laboratory will sign it yet another number. So,
Now, you mentioned that this was originally an assist to New Canaan. What does that mean?
So again, New Canaan asked the state police for assistance in this missing person investigation. We do that on occasion. So we will usually we'll provide crime scene services to the local police department, at the conclusion of which we will turn over all the evidence, our photographs, all of our reports, so the local police department can continue on with their case. Sometimes they will ask for additional detectives, which we will supply. Basically, we do as much or as little as the local department asks.
Now, by the way, with respect to photograph 7 behind you, do you see the fingerprint that you were mentioning on this? If you can stand up, please, and go towards the screen. Here, I could.
You can see it here. This it's not a very clear picture, but that's the area.
Okay.
So this smudged area in the center.
Thank you, sir.
It looks like he's walking up to that bean in Chicago. That big old picture.
And picture 9. Can you see that photograph or the fingerprint on the photograph?
Yes.
Okay. If you could just point it out for the record.
So with the application of the side light, see the flash here, it'll really bring up the rich detail in the fingerprint.
And do you point it to the middle of the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you said a side light.
The side light is right here.
Do you utilize that in photographing fingerprints?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. You can have a seat, sir. Now, did you enter the kitchen at all?
Yes, I did.
And how do you get to the kitchen from the garage?
So from the garage, you will go through that mudroom door that I removed the doorknob from. You will enter a small mudroom that has some like cubbies and coat hooks, and then you will enter a kitchen.
Is that the mudroom that you were mentioning?
Yes. So you see on the left-hand side of the photograph, that's the mudroom door.
And what is that? This states, I guess, picture 2. Is
Yes,
that
that's-
also the mudroom?
Correct.
Welcome, Polly.
Now, the door at the end of that in the picture, I guess that's in the middle of the picture. Where does that lead to?
I believe that leads to the backyard.
Is that a door that you had swabbed for the handles that you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
And picture 3?
Picture 3 is a photo of the kitchen. You'll see the.
I'll go back.
You see the center island, and in that far corner, that's the doorway into the mudroom.
And picture 4?
Again, a photograph of the kitchen. The mudroom doorway is to the right, right adjacent to that purse on the floor.
Speaking about the purse on the floor in the bottom right, did you take any action with respect to that purse?
Yes, we did. Somewhere during processing, we examined the purse for any items of evidentiary value. We laid everything out on the dining room table that was in it, photographed it, documented it, and I believe we seized it, not on the warrant, but for safekeeping, and turned that over to New Canaan.
That translator's loud. Between that and the computer and the typer.
Did you, with respect to picture 5, is this what you were talking about? Does it depict the contents of the purse?
Yes.
Did you do that?
I assisted with that, yes.
Okay. And picture 6?
Again, just another view of the purse contents.
Okay. Now, with respect to picture 7, do you see on the bottom right, there is a number 13. Do you see where I'm speaking, sir? About?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is that?
That is a paper towel roll that we examined, and we found what appeared to be blood stains on it.
Oh.
Okay. Now, did you put the 13 down?
I did.
Okay. For purposes, what is that called?
We call them evidence placards. Different departments call them different things. But again, it's just a number to designate the state police exhibit number that we're going to document under.
And item 13, is that the paper towel rolls right next to it?
Yes.
Is this how the paper towel rolls were found?
That's
off
how
the holder or on the holder?
It was off the holder.
So remember they said that he used their paper towels to
States
clean
9.
up.
Actually, I'll go back. I'm sorry. States picture 8. Upon looking at that, I guess item 13, the paper towel holder or paper towels. You indicated there was a blood-like stain. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Where was that?
It was on the upper part and on the inside cardboard tube of the paper towel roll.
Who found that?
I did.
Okay.
No, so thank you so much. It's 20
States
memberships. Thank
photograph
you.
9. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Can you explain what that shows, sir?
So this is the area of the apparent blood that we found on the paper towel roll.
And what did you do once you observed it?
I field tested it.
Oh, I see it.
What does that mean?
So we have a presumptive field test that we utilize in the major crime squad. It screens for the presence
I'm
of
going to
blood.
object to this testimony. This witness is not qualified to testify to this.
Well, the issue of the presumptive test is going to require essentially argument outside of the presence of the jury. It is 4:25. What the court is inclined to do is dismiss the jury for today. We can take up the argument on the
If I can, Your Honor.
presumptive test.
Yes, Your Honor, I would just indicate I am not done with my foundation questions with him. I don't know if that it will influence the court's decisions with respect to any ruling.
Well, the testimony was about to be, this is a test that we conduct in order to. And Attorney Schoenhorn stood up and rightly indicated this is the subject of a matter that should be taken up outside of the presence of the jury. The foundational question was leading, not inappropriately, leading this witness to talk about what that test is and what it's supposed to show.
That's fine.
So the testimony that he administered a test stands, but that's as far as it goes.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what the court is going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is dismiss you for today. Of course, the holiday
Like,
is
I'm
on
out.
Monday. We do not know what the weather report will be for Tuesday. But as of right now, we would ask that you report, well, in fact, check the judicial branch website for information about whether or not juries are going to be brought in on Tuesday. That information will be on the judicial branch website. If we are in session, we will resume on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock. We ask that you, again, not discuss the case, not follow any media reports about the case. Thank you and have a safe weekend.
We were just finally getting testimony. Advocate says in the movie, the nanny had paused around the paper towels. When she went in the pantry, there was like one roll and one knocked over. That was abnormal, apparently. Yeah, so they had, she said in her interview with police that they had stocked the pantry or whatever with a 12-pack the night before. And when she went in there, there was only 2 paper towel rolls left.
It
So she
appears to the
noticed.
court, you may be seated. It
She is a
appears to the
sharp
court that
cookie.
The easiest way
Or smart cookie.
for the court to determine
Sharp.
the admissibility of the evidence is to hear the offer of proof through this witness.
May I question him, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Sergeant Riley, with respect to you said a field test. What do you mean by field test?
So it's a screening test we use for the presence of blood. It's called the Castlemeyer test. It consists of 2 reagents, a phenolphthalein and then a hydrogen peroxide. When you combine these 2 chemicals together, 9 times out of 10 on a swab, and wait a couple of minutes, it's going to change to a bright pink color. That's part of the chemical reaction. If we combine those 2 chemicals onto a swab and we get an immediate color change, that's a positive indication for the presence of blood. So the way we conduct the test is we have a suspected stain that we think may be blood. We'll collect a small amount of that stain on a swab, put a drop of the phenolphthalein solution on it, wait a couple of seconds to see if there's any color change. If there's not, we'll put a drop of hydrogen peroxide on that swab And if we get an immediate bright pink color change, that's a positive indication.
And how many times have you conducted this presumptive test?
Thousands.
And are you trained in it?
Yes.
Can you please explain some of your training?
My training is basically through the State Police Forensic Lab, where we obtain the special formulation of phenolphthalein solution. They provide us that reagent, and then we obtain the hydrogen peroxide and sterile water that we use as a solvent to actually collect the stain from a chemical supply house. So the training was through Forensic Lab in in-service program.
And when were you trained to do this?
Sometime in the early 2000s.
And is there any changes in the way that the testing has been done since the early 2000s?
No.
Okay. And is there any, do you continuously get that, the items and the, I guess the reagent, is that what is that issue or what causes the change?
A reagent is just a fancy name for a chemical.
Okay. Do you get that directly from the Connecticut State Lab?
Yes, I do.
Now, what exactly is, if you can just explain what the results of that mean, the test?
Oh, I'm sorry. I left a step out. So if we get that immediate color change, it means that the chemical reaction has been sped up. So it means there's a catalyst present on that swab where we combine the chemicals. That catalyst that we're looking for is the hemoglobin component of blood.
And does that state whether or not, or tell you whether or not it is blood, or what type of blood, or anything in relation to that?
It's a positive screen for blood, so it leads us to believe it is blood. However, it won't screen human from any other blood that contains hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. So it won't differentiate between animal blood and human blood.
Does it test positive or change color in relation to anything besides that hemoglobin?
Yes, I mean basically anything with a perioxidase ability to it. So certain foods, horseradish, turmeric come to mind. There could be some other items that would cause a false positive. However, we just use it as a screening test. If we, if it's a suspect stain, a substance we don't know, we'll still collect it.
Now, with respect to the item 13 behind you, just walk me through the steps that you conducted with that.
So
He's such an aggressive
I
typer.
would take a swab moistened with sterile water, collect a small amount of that reddish brown substance onto the swab. It's a very sensitive test. Again, put a drop of the phenolphthalein solution on it, wait a second or two, put another drop of the hydrogen peroxide on it.
He's talking in present
Well,
terms.
this is an offer of proof.
Right, but I don't even know if he's talking about what he did here, which was the question.
I believe my question was, what did you do?
Overruled.
And
After waiting a few seconds, I did put a drop of the hydrogen peroxide solution on it, obtaining an immediate result, positive result, that bright pink color. I noted it as such. Then later, I packaged the roll of paper towel and noted the positive field test on the evidence label.
that is the state's offer of proof with respect to the field test, Your Honor. I'm also assuming it would be with respect to can I just ask one follow-up question? With respect to other items that were field tested, did you keep that day on May 27th or 25th, 2019? Is it the same process that you just testified to?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing changes based on the substance or the item that you're testing?
No.
Okay.
Well, the court has a few concerns. First is the phrase positive indication. Now, as the court understands the explanation, there can be a positive indication for other than hemoglobin. So the term positive indication by itself, the court is understanding the testimony to mean positive indication for blood. So just to say positive indication would be misleading. As the court understood the testimony, even radishes can render a positive indication. Secondly, the court is concerned about the phrase false positive. To be clear, the court understands that phrase to mean false positive for hemoglobin. Otherwise, if there's the hydrogen peroxide applied and it immediately turns colors, that's not a false positive, that's just positive. The third concern the court has, and the court may have to think about this over a period of time. The third concern the court has is this. The training undergone by the state police trains for blood only. The court does not understand the training to include all of the substances that could render a positive result. So if there are 40 substances that render a positive result, the court's understanding is that the training doesn't include watching the change in color concerning 40 substances. The training is very limited, as the court understands, to hemoglobin. As the court understands the testimony, this test can not differentiate between animal or human hemoglobin and will render a positive result for other than hemoglobin. So the court is going to take its time, not render a decision today, but when we return, the court has to think this through. On certain matters, the court plays slow pitch. There's nothing else concerning the offer today, correct?
Your Honor, I can clear up some of those with the directions and the concern the court has on direct in the nature of the state's questions. I would just indicate that. But with respect to the offer, beyond addressing Your Honor's concerns, no.
So it is unlikely that we will forget where we left off when we reconvene on Tuesday.
Judge, can I just be heard on a brief scheduling issue?
Yes.
Maybe throw a 6 to 12 foot pitch. The defense, Your Honor, as you recall yesterday, filed a motion to exclude certain DNA science, and they specifically requested a Porter hearing. Now, we did anticipate getting to some DNA evidence, not all of it, next week, and so my concern, Your Honor, is if the court is inclined to grant a Porter hearing, which of course we don't think you should, we wrote extensively about that in our memorandum, that could, potentially eat up an entire day of evidence. And so I just want to get this motion on the books so that maybe we can get back to some fast pitch. That's all.
Well, what the court cannot contemplate at this time, Attorney McGinnis, is a doubleheader. So we'll leave that for next week.
And I'll just schedule. I just looked at my whether out for one of the Connecticut television stations, but I will not specify which one, it says watching a major winter storm for Tuesday. So what should we do and how should we find out before Tuesday whether we're going to proceed or not? Is there a way I can find out from Your Honor by email so that we're...
Well, what happens with the court is that over the judicial branch alert system, the judges do not have to consult the website. We would get an emergency alert. But the court thinks that that alert would have gone out to others who would alert jurors not to come in. So for other than court staff, it probably would be the website.
And if I could just inquire, other than this discrete issue, I assume the witness is excused for today. Other than this discrete issue, how much longer, we'd like to at least plan for Tuesday, assuming we're going forward, how much longer we have a direct with this witness? I'm not going to have a lot of cross, and then at least we can find out who other witnesses are going to be on Tuesday.
Your Honor, we spent a good hour and a half authenticating the videos, so, or maybe not an hour and a half, but a good hour, and not the videos, the pictures. I am only beginning my direct at this point to go through all the photographs. I assume Detective Riley should be done by 1, maybe. I'm going to be positive and say we were hoping to. I know Detective Riley also is under subpoena in federal court for Tuesday, so we will try but I can't predict how long the direct is going to be.
I'm not going to argue a supremacy clause issue. As far as I'm concerned, this court is more important than whatever is going on in
I
federal
completely
court.
agree with counsel on that one. I just wanted to inform the court that I do know Detective Riley is very much wanted in multiple courts.
Well, let's just see how things develop for Tuesday. Thank you. Detective, you can, I'm sorry, Sergeant, you can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is so dangerous. Sorry.
So the jury has been excused. They've been told to pay attention to the judicial website for Tuesday. And we'll stand adjourned today. Thank you.
All rise. This honorable Superior Court now stands adjourned until Tuesday, January 16th.
Michelle.
Oh, Lord. Oh, gosh. They're on a bridge. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. They're on a bridge. This is so dangerous. This is so dangerous. I hope they're wearing their seatbelts.
Holy cow.
Huh.
There's a bunch of cars down there that are wrecked.
At least it looks like we're going to get a little bit of excitement before the end of the day. I hope they're careful. And you can watch. Starting to clear up a little bit out there now. Pass through quick.
Position is that is not appropriate to consider as a...
Well, right now we're working our way southbound the BW Parkway from I-95. This chase has been rather interesting as far as the police involvement in there. Right now we have about 5 or 6 cars behind this suspect. This suspect is a homicide suspect. And I'd like to take and give you a little bit more, but I'm getting real close to BWI. We're going to continue to send you pictures to you guys if the anchors want to kind of take this. But we're going southbound BW Parkway, and I've got to start talking to the tower down here because it looks like we're getting so close to their airspace that they're going to need assistance in dealing with traversing the air traffic. We just don't know if it's going to head down towards D.C. or if it's going to head towards the Beltway. We'll try and give you a little bit update a little bit later on here, but right now, southbound 95, just north of the Beltway, is where this individual is in reference to this homicide suspect. As we get more, we'll update you. Reporting in Sky Team 11. I'm Captain Roy Taylor. Tower, Sky Team 11. All right, we're working our way southbound the BW Parkway. We're still to the northeast of the airport right now. I'll keep you advised as to what the suspect heads, if he hits the Beltway or if he continues southbound. But this is a homicide suspect that we're working with police on getting it. And I think right now we went to a flight of 2. Fox had to go get gas.
Fox had to go get gas.
Okay.
Dang.
Insight for Sky Team 11, request visual 7.
This is the second day in a row we've ended our day with a chase. Just last minute chase. Oh, gosh. Look, that car is like, oh, dang. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Now there's guardrails. Where are you going to go? Oh, dang. I'm not meant to cut out. I'm not cut out for these. I get too excited.
You didn't pay attention. I said we called it as a flight.
Oh. I was paying attention.
I called us as a flight, so he already knows what we're dealing with, man.
I was paying
All
attention.
right. Now, we're flight at 2 right now, and we're headed northbound on the BW Parkway.
Oh, dang.
Tower, Sky Team 11, we're in luck. He's going northbound now on the BW Parkway, headed back towards the city.
Oh, dang.
All right, we can go back live with this now. We're going away from the airport.
Oh! I hope they're wearing their seatbelts. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready.
Oh dang. Oh dang. Threw him over that rail. Oh, there's more. There's 2 of them?
Northbound, the BW Parkway, northbound 295, north of 695, between 695 and 895.
Perfect. Yeah. Oops.
Right,
I keep
we're ready.
hitting the wrong stuff. Yeah, that was impressive. That was really good. Bravo to them.
Okay.
All right. Zoom back in. I want to see what's happening. I'm too nosy to be zoomed out. Come on. Maybe if I radio to him, I'll be like, zoom in.
Yes, they have been able to apprehend the individual. This is northbound 295, the BW Parkway.
Wasn't there two of them?
895 and the Beltway is where they were finally, with other agencies, able to take this individual out as far as stopping his vehicle. He ended up being pitted by a cruiser. Looked like state police was in the process of assisting with this apprehension that we have here. But if we pull out, we're going to show you a picture of just how many police cars are here at the scene and how the roadway is pretty much blocked just due to this law enforcement activity that happened in Baltimore City, ended up going through several districts of the city, almost all the way down here to BWI Airport, and then working its way back towards Baltimore City when other agencies were able to assist Baltimore City with the apprehension of this individual. Now, northbound, the BW Parkway is going to be shut down for a while they deal with this until they're able to retrieve this vehicle, retrieve any evidence that may be involved. Often the route, obviously, is take the Beltway around to circumnavigate this area. We can also tell you that we saw numerous accidents involving this vehicle where other civilian vehicles were involved, and we saw a lot of emergency equipment responding to that. So we're still trying to get more on this. We don't know exactly where this homicide took place, but as we get more and able to narrow it down, we should be able to take and give you more information and better detailed information as to what transpired here.
This is every officer that they have on duty at every place around there. Look at all them.
Okay.
It's like all of them. All of them. Everybody that's clocked in, like, there's a chase. Y'all come on. That was excellent. I got nervous on the bridge. On the bridges. Multiple bridges. But that was some good driving. You know, I have played Mario Kart. So I like to think that I could also execute a pit maneuver like that. Just saying. Just saying. I might not be very techie, but pretty good at Mario Kart. Just throwing that out there. So, if, you know, this whole YouTube thing doesn't work, that could be another career option. Let me get out there in my Jeep and do it. I'll have my kid record it. I'm just going to go pit maneuver somebody off Front Beach Road. Oh my gosh. Think about these people that are stuck on there. They ain't going nowhere no time soon. All the traffic. I am going to be real interested to hear the details about this. We're going to have to follow this now because if he's a homicide suspect, we're going to have to follow it now. Find out what happens to him. He sure did think he's going to get away, didn't he? He sure did. Does Maryland televise trial? You know what? I don't remember seeing one. All that traffic on a Friday. They gonna search him. lot of traffic on a Friday. We live in traffic. The only time we really get traffic is, I mean, during summer and spring break, bike week. But we only get traffic on 2 roads, Front Beach and Thomas Drive. That's it. Sometimes Back Beach. Oh, the officer driving the first white car looked like he got injured. Walked away. Oh. Oh, no. Melanie, get me out of your basement. Just joking. Your basement's probably bigger than my condo. Yeah, I'd hate to be in that mess, too. He's probably like, oop, not my best decision. Wasn't there two? That's what I thought. I thought I saw them whip out another one out of there.
You coming down here to join me?
Not right now. I'm busy.
You coming down here to join me?
No, not right now. I said I'm busy.
Fox.
Now we can see him better.
Yes, sir, I have Fox 2 on site. We are talking request visual set. Thank you.
He ain't lying. Just joking.
Fox, I'm at 500 feet. I'm just holding still. I got you inside as well. I'm just holding still.
Hold still. Be quiet. You're fine. Kidding. Kidding.
I've got you in sight, and you got to talk to Tara when you get a chance.
I ain't got to talk to nobody.
Oh, I canceled you out. I'm sorry. I thought you were Fox. No, you're canceled out landing at the pier, and Fox is here joining up with me.
I'm canceled. I just got canceled. Well, that cracked me up. I was laughing at the grocery store. No, I'm busy right now. I'm busy. Got stuff to do. Sitting here with jurors. I'm busy. I'm so impressed by that pit. Like that was good. That was real good. You can see the airbag. Nobody cancels Brandi. It's like nobody puts baby in a corner. Bless it. Bless it. Look, it looks like there's some sun starting to peek out a little bit right there. Looks like the majority of the storm has passed. So that's good. Look at there. Look at there. Yeah, the airbag went off. Where it hit that guardrail, the passenger airbag went off. Look at all the cars from traffic backed up. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Let's watch it again. You know you can rewind, right? I'm just joking. Here, we can watch it again. You want to watch the pit move? It was impressive. But see, this is why I couldn't do this. Like, you know, we'll watch these occasionally sometimes, but this is why, like Mel does them all the time. You know, he'll do all of them. I'll just like jump on them every once in a while because it's fun, or if we don't have anything else going on, or something like yesterday, today, like they just happen to be at the very end of our day. But I couldn't be like and like recovery addict, does such a good job at like doing them. Not me. I get too over. I'm like, oh dang, oh dang, oh dang. Not calm enough. Not calm enough for it. All right, here we go. We're watching that. We're watching this again before we go.
Insight for Sky Team Lab request visual 7.
Just for you, since you asked. I started getting nervous right here, too. I thought it was going to end right there.
You didn't pay attention. I said we called it as a flight.
I don't like the way he's talking to me.
I called us as a flight, so he already knows what we're dealing with, man.
Yeah, that's true. Mel does start hollering too, so I don't feel so bad.
All right. Now, we're flight at 2 right now, and we're headed northbound on the BW Parkway. Tower, Sky Team 11, we're in luck. He's going northbound now on the BW Parkway, headed back towards the city. All right, we can go back live with this now. We're going away from the airport.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is good job by them right there. Look. I bet they play Mario Kart too.
We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. We're ready.
There's yanking one of them out right here. There's another one too, isn't there? Yep, pulled another one out right there. Been looking for more. Interesting, interesting. We'll have to, let me skip back ahead to the live. Look at that traffic. The traffic's still backed up, but they're getting there. Oh, what a day, y'all. What a day.
And we are still ready whenever you guys are.
Ripped him right on out. So next week, let's talk a little bit about next week. I have to start later than normal for the next 8 weeks. We will be starting a little bit later. Probably around 10:15, probably around, wait, hold on. I wrote it down. 10:15, be back here 10:30. Probably between like 10:30 and 11 Central. So 11:30 to 12 Eastern. So we're gonna, which will be fine because they're not starting till 10 Eastern anyway. So if we're starting hour and a half, 2 hours later, they take an hour break for lunch. They take another They take 2 15-minute breaks. So that's an hour and a half right there. So we'll be caught up. I mean, we'll still be, you know, we'll be fine. So that will be the next 2 weeks. So Tuesday, yeah, it'll be, I'll set it for 11:30, but just know that if I'll set it for 11:45. Give myself an extra 15 minutes. But just know that if I'm not here right at 11:45, I'll be here sometime between 11:45 to 12. No court on Monday. No court on Monday. So this will all be on Tuesday. So, and I will not be able to, I can't get out of I have to be there Thursday. I can't get out of it. So, Thursday for the Lori Vallow hearing, we'll just watch it later in the day. If that works for y'all. So, we will get through all of this. I allow myself in buffer in case the car chase happens, right? All right, y'all. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I am so appreciative of today. I had a great day with y'all. We really did have we had a good day. I mean, you know, maybe the trial wasn't as interesting as what we would have liked. Maybe. Possibly. Absolutely. Definitely. But, you know, that's okay. We made it through it. And hopefully most of their arguments are going to be behind us now for the most part. And then we can start rocking and rolling with the evidence and testimony come next week. I know that the judge is already kind of seems like he's getting annoyed, and so are the attorneys. So I don't feel like that he's gonna, you know, hopefully allow it to continue moving at snail's pace in the future. But you know, you never can tell. Trials are unpredictable. So, but I will see y'all Tuesday. I'll set the stream up for what are we doing? We're doing an Eastern trial. So I'll set it up for like 11:45 Eastern. And then I'll be here sometime either around then or not far after that. Sound good? All right, y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me and watching the trial with me. I really, truly appreciate it. I am so thankful. Oh, you want our final count for the day? See how close we are? 14,731. We're getting there. We're getting there. So excited. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see y'all on Tuesday. Unless something else happens between now and then and I decide to do a live. Because sometimes I just miss y'all and want to see your faces or your names and your emojis. Or your little circles with whatever they have. Anyway, sometimes I just want to see y'all. So if I don't go live sometime over the weekend, then I will see y'all on Tuesday. I appreciate it.